How you gonna continue and they gonna see that in the video? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Ashley. Clearly, because the makeup's the same, hair's the same, lips same, so clearly we're the same person. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but anyways, in today's video, I'm gonna be transforming my little sister into me. She's 5 years younger than me. I'm sure you guys have seen her on my channel before. It's been a minute though. It's been a hot minute. I want to say we haven't filmed together in like 2 years. Okay, everybody, I'm taking over this show right now. I'm here. I'm back. Yes, I know. I'm here. Yes, I have braces on, but that's not the fact. Whoa. I'm really excited about today's video because I am showing you guys some new from COL-LAB. I'm actually filming this entire video in collaboration with COL-LAB Makeup. We have it on our eyes. We have it all over. It's a look. It's a moment. Can we just talk about our inner corner highlight for a second? I bet you weren't even expecting that. You guys are gonna see all of the deets in the video. I'm gonna demo them on this little thing right here. So shout out to COL-LAB again for partnering with me to create this entire video. If you guys are new, don't forget to subscribe by pressing the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to click the bell. Don't forget to click the bell. You need the bell for the post notifications so that you know when she posts videos, which is three times a week. Every single week. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, you guys, so I have my little bobblehead right here, Nikki. She actually likes to be called Alexis now. It's Alexis. Okay, we have Alexis here. Alexis, and she's gonna be our model today. I'm gonna be transforming my sister into me, so it's definitely gonna be a challenge because this is an ugly face. Anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump straight into the eyes. I already did her brows and I primed her lids off camera. I will be using our brand new Palette Pro eyeshadow palettes. This one is called Tropic Like It's Hot. I also have this one right here called Sunset Dreams and Strike a Rose. We have another one and it is gorgeous. It's filled with a bunch of really beautiful kind of smoky colors. I'm gonna start off with our Sunset Dreams eyeshadow palette and I'm gonna take this really beautiful creamsicle orange shade and I'm gonna pop it into the crease as a transitional shade. Keep in mind I didn't set down the concealer with a powder just because I really want these shadows to show up to their full intensity. So I'm just rocking it right here into her crease. This definitely doesn't have to be super precise. It's essentially going to be a transitional color, so you can't just rock it into the crease very messily. But I'm going in small circular motions right here towards the very outer corner. Now for one, Nikki does have pretty small eyelids, so I'm trying not to blow this color out too far. I'm really just trying to keep it into the crease and just blow it out a little bit, because if I blow it out too high, this color is just going to cover her entire lid, which isn't what I'm going for. So moving on, I'm gonna go in with our Tropic Like It's Hot palette, and I'm going to pick up this shade right here, which is a little bit deeper than the orange in the Sunset Dreams palette. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to start building it up right here on the very outer edge of her eye. This is just me layering on color just to build it up to my desired intensity. If you guys are new to my channel, you may or may not know that I really just enjoy building color until I get it super duper dark, because I feel like it's really easy to build color as opposed to trying to take away color. Going right back into the Palette Pro eyeshadow palette, I'm going to pick up this shade right here, which is a little bit more of a deeper orange shade, and I'm going to concentrate this again on the very outer edge of the eyelid. And what I'm doing with this is while I'm putting it on the very outer corner, I'm trying to keep it below the crease. I definitely don't want it to go above that orange shade. That's cute, huh? Yeah. That just changed up the look. All right, I need you to turn. Now that I have that color built up in her outer V, I'm gonna go in with a clean brush, and I'm really just going to buff out the edges for a really nice clean blend. Ooh, honey. 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 I'm now going to go in with this shade right here as a brow bone highlight. I'm just going to pop it right here on the brow bone. Not only does it give off a really beautiful sheen, but I like to think of my brow bone highlight as my magic eraser, because in the event that I took my transitional shade a little bit too high, I will just go in with a brush and I will just kind of blend both shades together, just so that way I could bring that transitional shade down a little bit, and it just gives off a really seamless blend. I'm going to bounce back and start using the Sunset Dream shadow palette, and I'm going to pick up this brown shade on a smaller blending brush. And the reason I'm using a smaller brush is because I really want this brush to sit right here here in the outer socket of her eye. And as you can see, I'm lightly tapping this shade right here because I don't want it to be too dark. I really want it to add a little bit of dimension, but I don't want it to be too dark. So I definitely recommend going in with a little bit of product at a time. So I will just go in with a little bit, and then I'll just kind of start really lightly feathering the product. I'm gonna add a little bit more orange to the look. I feel like I kind of lost a little bit of it in the process of adding that really deep brown. And I'm also gonna take this all over the lid as well to really just amp things up a little bit more. One thing I do want to point out about our eyeshadows is that they are extremely buildable, creamy, and pigmented. I feel like when I work with this dark brown shade, I really have to be careful how much product I really just put on my brush, because otherwise it can be super intense really fast. So I do kind of take my time with it and I build it up to my desired intensity. For the most part, shadow is done. I'm now going to go in with our Killer Kohl self-sharpening eyeliner. This one right here is in the shade Vixen, and I'm just going to create a very thin liner. This is going to help when I pop on falsies. I will be putting falsies on her because you guys know I never create a look without falsies, and I'm sure she's like terrified, but I'm going to use this and I'm just going to lightly line her lash line. Now this isn't going to be a super intense wing liner. I'm really just creating this as a barrier just so that way you can't see my lash band. And when doing this, I like to put my thumb on the lid and just pull upwards just so that way I get this liner closest to the base of the lash. Now typically when I do this step, I do kind of like to smudge out the liner. So in this case, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of this brown shadow and I'm going to put it directly over top of that liner. Kind of like setting it down in place, but also using it to kind of just smoke out that liner. You look stunning, honey. So what I'm going to have you do, just because I don't want to put my fingers on your face, is have you put a little bit of our fundamental hydrating primer on. Give me your hand. And you just work it into the skin. Holla at ya, girl. I'm also going to go in with a little bit of a smoothing primer, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to pop it in the very center of her face. So I'm going to take the primer and I'm going to pop it right here. This is going to smooth out her skin and really just fill in any pores she may have, and also smooth out any uneven skin texture. She does struggle with acne, so this is really just going to smooth everything out. Now that her skin is nice and primed, I'm going to move on to foundation. I will be using our Meet Your Matte Velvet Foundation. Fun fact, we recently expanded our shade range and we have a total of 22 shades, which is just sickening to think about. We've come such a long way. So we just added 10 foundations to our line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of mix a couple foundations. I have Olive 5.5 and then I also have 05 Tan. Now Nikki's skin is a little bit darker than mine. I'm like super pale compared to her. So we're going to use a little bit of Olive 5.5 because I feel like this is going to be a relatively good match for her. I put a little bit of the foundation on the back of my hand. I'm just going to use a sponge to pick some of it up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the very center of her face right here. As you can see, her foundation is extremely full coverage. Like immediately all of her acne scarring was covered up. You can see a little bit of it peeking through, but honestly it's nothing I am too concerned about because I can just go in and spot conceal right after. But do you guys see how beautiful that looks? So what I'm doing is I'm really just pressing the foundation into the skin. One thing you really want to do when putting on foundation is blend down the neck. Let me tell you guys a fun story is when Nikki used to wear foundation back in the day, homegirl did not blend the foundation down her neck. So she literally had a huge line sitting on her jawline, and none of her friends ever told her. Honestly, if you don't have friends that tell you your foundation isn't blended, they're not really your friends. Let's be real. I will never lie to you. Now that I have her base done for the most part, I'm going to pick up a little bit more concealer on a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to kind of spot conceal in the areas that need just a little bit more coverage. And I'm using a fluffy brush because I want to place the color, and then I kind of want to buff and blur out the edges. And the reason I'm using a fluffy brush is because I really want to place the color while also buffing out the edges at the same time, because we really don't want to move any of the product from this area right here. We really want it to dry full coverage. So just kind of pat and then diffuse out the edges. I'm now gonna go in with our No Flaws liquid concealer, and I'm gonna pop a little bit of this underneath her eye. And this is really just going to brighten underneath her eyes and make her look wide awake. Typically, I do like to highlight in the center of the face. I'm also gonna put a little bit down the center of her nose, her chin, and her forehead. And what I love about our concealer is that it is extremely buildable. So it's not full coverage. It is a light to medium coverage, but you can definitely build it all the way up to full coverage. It definitely reminds me of like Urban Decay Naked Skin and NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer mixed, if you guys get my drift. So definitely check it out. It is one of my favorite affordable concealers. You can see just how beautiful that brighten underneath the eyes. All right, so now that her concealer is nice and blended out, it's time for me to set it down with a little bit of powder. You guys are used to me using this on my channel, which is the Ultra Fine Set the Stage Loose Setting Powder in Porcelain Ivory. Fun fact, this actually isn't like a baking translucent powder. It's just a lighter powder that I like to use underneath my eyes to set down my concealer. We have finally come out with a translucent powder that's meant to set directly underneath the eyes. And this is the brand new Set the Stage Soft Focus Translucent Finishing Powder. You get absolutely no flashback with this, and it has a white cap as opposed to our original black cap, which is cool. So I'm going to twist off the cap, and I'm going to apply a little bit of this underneath her eyes. I'm going to take my sponge. I'm not going to do too much, so look up. I'm just going to use enough to really just set that concealer in place. Now, one thing I will say is I don't really like to bake with translucent powder. I really like to push that powder into the skin just so that way it really sets the makeup in place. I'm also going to use this powder to set all the areas of the face where I did put that concealer, like the forehead, down the bridge of the nose especially, because she does lean a little bit more oily. So hello, we're trying to keep those oils at bay.
I'm Nicki Minaj.
To set the rest of her face makeup down, I will be using the Kill the Shine pressed powder. This one is in the shade Honey Almond, and I'm going to apply the powder with a fluffy brush, and I'm really just going to pack the color on her face to really just lock her base in place. And since she is oily, you want to make sure she's all powdered down. Now that her base is done for the most part, I'm just going to finish off her eyes. I'm going to go into the Tropic Like It's Hot palette, and I'm going to pick up this peachy shade with a smaller, precise brush. Look up. And I'm going to place it right here. And what I'm doing is I'm connecting the lower lash line with the upper lash line just to bring the entire look together. So what's really going to bring this entire look together is going in with a little bit of this dark brown color. I'm going to use a flat brush to really just pack this color on the very outer edge. So go ahead and look up like so. And I'm pretty much stamping it right here, right alongside the lower lash line on the very outer edge. For the most part, shadow is done, but I do want to add a super fun pop of color to the very inner corner right here. So I'm going to go into our Tropic Like It's Hot palette, and I'm going to pick up this light green shade. Tell me that's not fire. Like, I'm going to pick it up with a pencil brush, and I'm just going to kind of pop it right here to just add something a little bit extra to the look. Who are you? I don't even know. Are you excited?
Yeah.
She's feeling herself.
What is that supposed to mean?
She's feeling herself. For bronzer, I will be using the Sun Obsession Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Major. You guys know this is bae all freaking day. And I'm just going to lightly bronze up the skin. Nothing too crazy. I mean, she doesn't need too much bronzing. Just going to take it right alongside the perimeter of the face. I'm now going to go in with the Face and Eye Highlighting Palette in the shade Warm Glow, just because this is what's really going to go well with her skin tone. I'm going to mix this shade and this shade together, and I'm going to pop it on the highest points of her cheekbone. I'm also going to take this highlight right along her nose, and I do like to just put it very straight on the nose, like so. And we're going to pop a little bit down the bridge. Pop some on the temple as well. For blush, I will be using our Soft Spot Sheer Blush in the shade Sweet Surprise. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that since Nikki does have like acne scarring, one thing you don't want to do is take your blush and just really rub it alongside her face. Otherwise, the dark marks will start to appear. So I'm going to take the blush and I'm actually just going to pat it into the skin. just to add a little bit of color to the cheeks. Turn. And I'm not going to sweep too hard, otherwise that discoloration will start to peek through. So we went ahead and popped on mascara and falsies. Y'all, this is a big move because for so long I couldn't put falsies on her because her lashes are extremely curly. They used to literally curl in to form a little ball. This is a big moment, okay? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, babe. Moving on, we're gonna put on her lip color. So I will be launching a brand new lip color in collaboration with COL-LAB Makeup. This is the Matte Addiction Liquid Lip in the shade I'm Nude here. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pop this on her. I feel like this lip is going to complement the look very, very well. And since she's my sister, I'm just gonna apply it straight from the tube. Honey, it's Nude. If you guys are interested in picking up my lip color, it won't be available until 11/1, and it does retail for $9.99. Love, love, love the formula of these liquid lipsticks. The last and final thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set her face down with a setting spray. We are finally coming out with setting sprays. I know it's long overdue. We have a hydrating setting spray right here, and then we also have a mattifying setting spray. I will be using the one that's mattifying just because she does have oily skin. One thing I definitely recommend is that you shake this up extremely well before going in with it. Otherwise, it could just be a mess. And it is an extremely fine spray. So I love this because this is really going to set the makeup in place and also mattify it at the same time. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do her hair, and then we are gonna be right back. And just like that, you guys, this is the final and completed beat on Nikki. Definitely let me know how you guys think I did. Honestly, I already know I killed it. Look at her eyelashes. Like, let me just say, I have never been able to get lashes on this girl in my life. In my life. And they look amazing.
Thank you.
It's actually so shocking. She's feeling herself. Let me tell you, she took a million selfies. A million.
No,
I walked over and I'm like, out of everything I used in today's video, what would you say was your favorite product?
Bruh.
Okay, so my favorite was the foundation because I suffer with acne scars, but look at my face. Like,
Where? Dark marks? Where?
Flawless.
I'll take this back.
No, I'm keeping it.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how you guys feel about it down below in the comments. And if you guys want to see Nikki in future videos, let me know. I will torture her, all of that. And also don't forget to check out the description box down below for all of the products used. If the products are not available as of right now, I will list the names just so that way you guys can search them up when they launch in stores. And with that, I don't have much else to say except I love you. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces. Bro, not this. This.
Welcome back to the, what is it?
Like, I'm
Alright guys, so that wraps it up for today's video.
the outro of the outro. The outro of the outro.